Hey guys, I'm the Coaster Keat, and happy Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving, I thought it would be fun to just go ahead and think about some of those memories of family, because after all, Thanksgiving is a great time to go ahead, get together with friends, family, everyone that you love, and just go ahead and share a good meal. After having done just that, I'm just gonna go ahead and, recollect on some of the most funny memories, or at least most memorable things that I can remember, mostly between me and my cousins. So let's go ahead and get started. So, one of my cousins, named Rebecca, is about 3 years older than me. But as she was the closest person to me in age, we would often hang out a lot together because it just made the most sense. Among my extended family, I was the youngest for a very, very, very long time, a time that ended relatively recently, but Rebecca was the closest that I had. And also because I was an only child, she was also the closest that I kind of had to more of a sister sort of relationship. Though I will say that from observation of all of the people who actually do have siblings, there was a fair amount less resentment between me and Rebecca because the times that we met up were so rare. But a lot of the times that we did meet up, one of the main activities that we did was to play Mario Party. And for whatever reason, we would play Mario Party all the time and for pretty much the entire length of the visit. It was either Mario Party or just Mario Brothers getting through levels. It was always Mario pretty much all of the time. And I remember distinctly one night when we were just playing Mario and that clock ticks past midnight, which is just something that you pretty much only see on New Year's when you're a kid. But during this sleepover, that clock actually ticked past midnight. And I remember looking at that and being like, whoa, how much longer can we stay up? We need to set a record, because I'm a super competitive person. And her just being like, oh, yeah, I guess we could, because she's a lot calmer, a lot more reasonable than I am. And so we did. We ended up staying up till a record time of 5 a.m. that I still to this day have not beaten, thankfully. And I may, unfortunately, beat in the rest of my college career. But for that time, it was literally just playing Mario all the time. Something about that game was just so fun, so engaging, that we just played it consistently for great lengths of time. Now, I will say that my relationship with Rebecca has not been perfectly peaceful. We have gotten into our arguments in the past, mostly one that was over whose grandma our grandma was. You see, when you're a kid, distinctions like having a grandma that can be for two people are odd because, you only have your one mom or your one dad, and if you don't have like a brother or a sister, like no one else shares those things. Those are yours. And so the concept, for me especially, of having someone share like my grandma was just unheard of. It was not a thing that could happen. And so when one time she brought up when we were kids that she referred to our grandma as grandma, and I'm like, you can't do that. She's my grandma. And she replies back, no, she's my grandma. And I'm like, no, she's my grandma. And we just keep fighting back and forth for like a solid 5 minutes, as only kids can do, having an extremely redundant, not very progressive conversation about who truly owned grandma, which was eventually ended by us going up to some adults and asking their professional opinion, in which they said that it was both of our grandmas. And both of us, being kids who have dealt with this sort of thing in the past, just accepted it as, those adults, they just want to avoid conflict, so they're not telling us the true solution. But whatever, I guess she is your grandma. though I know deep down in my heart, Rebecca, when you watch this, she's my grandma. You have no ownership. But, yeah, so we would just have all of these things. But, you see, Rebecca wasn't my only cousin. No, I had two others. I had Aaron and I had Matthew. And these two were significantly older than me in that they were just a little bit older. But both of them were extremely into Pokemon and extremely into Super Smash Brothers, I recall. I recall going to Thanksgiving parties and everyone would be out on the patio, but these two would be in a room with an old style TV playing Super Smash Melee. And I would walk in and be like, hey, can I play? And they would let me. And then I would die because I had no idea what the heck I was doing. But it was harmless, I suppose. But these two actually were kind enough to actually introduce me to Pokemon. They were some of the ones that helped, once I got the games initially, the Pokemon Pearl, they helped show me some various things, including one magical moment in my memory where my cousin Aaron traded over this Pokemon called Machoke. And I was just training him something because I was like, hey, it would be cool to have a Pokemon that someone else raised. And so I just gave him one that I raised, and he was going to trade over this Machoke. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure of this because I don't like Machoke. Its design is a bit weird to me, so I was always like, I guess it works, whatever. But as it traded over and the trade finished, he just watched me and the Machoke just started and the animation for evolution just started playing. It's like, what? Your Machoke is evolving. And I'm over here like, what? Because I had never seen this before. I had never experienced that feeling of having, some unexpected evolution. And I did not expect it from a trade. I had never traded before. And so this for me was just crazy. It was insane. It was magical. It was like, what did you do? How did you do this? And I just remember him being like, yep, Machoke evolves by trading, and me just being like, what is this? So it was just a great moment that will forever be tied very closely to my memories of Pokemon. And, with Matthew, he was just kind of always around when it came to Pokemon. Whenever I would be talking about it, he would always come in and be like, oh yeah, I was doing this thing. He would always be extremely, extremely supportive of everything that we did. He was always the one that made sure I got into the game. He was always the one that made sure everything was fair. It was just, I don't know. Those three have been a very crucial part to my growth as a person, whether it be through setting the record of my longest time staying awake, or giving me my first Pokemon by evolution, or making sure that the rest of the kids didn't burn down the frickin' house while the parents were too busy talking about whatever the heck it is adults talk about. See the spying video for more information. While we went ahead and played and just did chaos, essentially. So it's been a crazy couple, I guess not a couple anymore. It's been a crazy set of years. And now, after having my first Thanksgiving as an adult, an official adult, which was very strange, it's good to see that a lot of things haven't changed and that those three are still coming and they're still going and we're still all playing Pokemon and talking about Sword and Shield, the new Pokemon, the new tactics, and, just having an overall fantastic time. So to any of you three that end up watching this, thank you so much for being just some of the best cousins around. And to all the rest of you, thanks for listening to these silly stories. I hope that you have some similar stories that you have with your family. And if you do, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I would love to read them, because you guys who are watching this are essentially the extended family. So, just thank you guys for watching. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope that you guys soar high and enjoy your ride of life. Bye!